Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I want to share with you all of my habits and tips for a clutter-free home. I am not somebody who is born like not being a cluttery person. I have kind of always been somebody who's cluttery. I'm like a pile shifter. I'll make like piles and then I tend to like shift them around different rooms. And usually if I'm like working on a project or if I'm doing something, I am terrible at picking up as I go and I end up like leaving our house a total tornado. But when my husband and I moved in together, I learned very quickly that I needed some work in that department. I'm not like a dirty person, I'm just kind of sometimes a messy person. So these are all the tips that have helped me and habits that I've formed over the years to really help to like cut down on the clutter in my daily life. And it's nice because then you end up with like a relatively clean home every day. So win-win. Kind of a no-brainer is to own fewer things. The less stuff you own, the less stuff you have to put away and find homes for. So just own less things. Or maybe a better way to put it is to own the right amount of things, because you know, the idea of minimalism I think is really, really relative and very subjective. So what one person has for things, it might not be what works for you and vice versa. So owning the right amount of things, and generally that's fewer things than you already have, especially if you're watching this because you suffer from clutter like I do. Slow down your purchasing. So for me, I like to do kind of like a 24-hour rule where I don't purchase it unless I wait 24 hours. The crazy thing is a lot of times I completely forgot what I was going to purchase in that moment 24 hours later. So that's a great way to be more intentional with your purchases. Along with that, you want to purge often. So this doesn't mean necessarily like every day, but you know, go through your closet each season, and or like for me, my linen closet tends to get kind of like a little cluttery, and also my kitchen can get a little cluttery, especially like my pantry. So I really try and go through things and purge often. That really helps to like keep down and maintain the minimal things or the right amount of things in your life. So if you're purging as you go, maybe as you're cleaning, or you know, just every so often you're like, oh, I don't need that. It's really nice to have a donation bin, because that way all these things, when you know you're kind of like cleaning your house or doing things and you realize I actually don't need this thing anymore, but it's kind of a lot of work to like go to the Goodwill for this one item. It's nice to have a donation bin or like a designated spot for your donations, and once that gets full you can just bring that bin to the Goodwill. If you don't have room in, let's say you're in an apartment and it's like a smaller space and you don't really have like room for a donation bin, a really great way to do it is to maybe keep like a bin in the trunk of your car, and then when you go out in the morning to your car to go to work or something like that, bring that with you, pop it in the donation bin, and then once that thing gets full, it's already in your car and you just drop it off at the thrift store. Another like awesome life hack for that is, in the mornings, you know, sometimes you just like grab immediately what you need, like your work bag or something like that, a school bag or whatever. Take your keys for your car and your house, set it like on top of the thing that you have to bring down to your car. And I guarantee you won't forget it then, because you'll be looking for your keys and wondering, where the heck did I put my keys? And you're like, oh yeah, I was gonna donate that random dish towel that I don't want anymore or something. And so you have it like set there by your door and you're like, ah, remembered it. Embrace the junk drawer. This may seem a little counterintuitive to like having a decluttered home, but sometimes there's just little bits and bobs around your house that don't have a home anywhere. We have a junk drawer. It's actually the top left drawer of my desk, which is kind of funny. A lot of people have it in their kitchen, but we have only a few drawers in our kitchen, and I wasn't ready to give up one as a junk drawer. And just every so often, go through your junk drawer. Like I probably need to go through mine right now real bad, because it just collects random things. Like right now, a bunch of paint swatches and just like random things that somehow enter my home and I don't know where they go. So I just pop them in the junk drawer. This is something I'm not great at doing, and it is tidying up as you go. This is whether you're working on a project or, you know, for me, it's like making dinner. Tidying up as I go makes a huge difference, because then when I am finished with the project, I don't have like this big mess of things I have to put away. And sometimes, honestly, I'm lazy and I don't want to go do all of that. So I eat my dinner and then we just hang out and maybe watch TV or sit on the couch and chat, and I don't clean up the mess that's in the kitchen. But I find if I just tidy as I go, it makes a huge difference. And then at the end of maybe like making a meal, I have a pretty small amount of things to clean up. So it only takes me a few minutes, and then that's just like done. I love that. It's amazing going to bed with a clean kitchen. I try to do it, it doesn't always happen, but it really does make a difference. When you wake up in the morning to a clean kitchen, it feels so good. I also tried to keep a very minimal amount of small kitchen appliances or just stuff in general on my countertops, especially in my kitchen. I keep my toaster on there because I hate moving it and getting crumbs everywhere. And I have a thing of, what would you call it? Like spoon, spatula, stuff to use like near the stove. Like I said, we don't have a lot of drawer space, so that works really well, and it looks kind of cute, I think. And then I have my compost on my countertop, and those are like the things that I pretty much need on a daily basis. Sometimes I'll have like a bowl of fruit if I'm really like on a fruit kick, which I guess is pretty often, so I have that on there all the time for the most part. But I put my Vitamix away usually when I'm using it, unless I'm like on a big smoothie kick. My food processor has a home, my rice cooker has a home, my KitchenAid has a home. I really try to put all of my small like kitchen appliances somewhere out of sight. Go paperless. So any sort of bill or anything that you can sign up for that is paperless, I find to be so helpful, because mail is a huge culprit of clutter. And I personally prefer getting like an email of like, your bill is due this day and this date, here's how much it is. I personally find that way easier for me to manage than like to try and find a piece of paper that came in the mail and I don't really know where to put it, because just so much of my life is now paperless that I don't really have a mail system. I have a small little thing on my dresser, not my dresser, my desk, that has kind of like my pieces of mail that I actually have to take care of. And so if there is anything that is in a paper form that needs to be taken care of, it's gonna be in that thing. And so all the rest of it gets recycled or thrown out. Riding right off of that mail thing is go through your mail right away. Don't put it into a pile. You just like, honestly, as soon as we take it out of our little mailbox here, it's like in our closet randomly over there, we go through it. So we get rid of any catalogs. If there was a way I could just unsubscribe from all catalogs in general and just be like, never send me a catalog, I would. But occasionally I get like catalogs. We go open everything and throw the things away that we don't need and keep the things that we do need. A great way to keep your home clean is to have a place for everything. If you know where an item goes, it's really easy to just pick it up and bring it there. Or the other people in your household know you can pick it up and bring it to that place. This might be kind of like a funny tip, but have fewer surfaces. So the house that we lived in before this was like a 1920s duplex that we rented, and it had all these beautiful built-ins and they were gorgeous. But I noticed that I would get things just to put in the built-in shelves or like bookshelf things. And I was amazed when we moved to this house how we don't have any built-in surfaces for the most part. Everything was like we had to have something to put something on it, if that makes sense. So obviously the more surfaces that you have, the more opportunity you have for things to sit on the surfaces. It's not to say that you can't like have like a bookshelf or things like that unless like you need to store a lot of books. I don't own a lot of books. I don't really need a bookshelf because most of my books are like on my Kindle. But I find eliminating those spaces, now moving from that old house to this new house, I have so much less decor clutter. It is wonderful. I used to have so much random stuff that I'd get from like the thrift store, and then I'd kind of like style it, and it was fun. And it's not that I dislike that look, it's just that it really creates a lot of visual clutter, and I really enjoy not having all those surfaces in our house now. Use trays sparingly. I find that trays are another one of those things that just collect stuff. It's almost like a little junk tray, at least in my experience. Like, my husband would unload his like pockets from work, and he'd have like business cards and all these things that he would just put in the tray, and I was like, you can do anything with those? They're just kind of cluttery everywhere. I find that trays often collect more than they do good. I have certain things that are like designated for specific items. So I have a place for our keys. So, you know, a tray for keys is great. It's when you have the trays kind of scattered everywhere. You have a coffee table, things on the end tables and trays. Personally, I've just found those trays collect junk. This one can be kind of hard, but saying no to hand-me-downs. Sometimes people give you things with the best of intentions, and you really don't need them, but a lot of times they know I'm ready to get rid of it, so they hand it down to you. Like, I get that from my parents, actually. They're not ready to get rid of it, but they'll give it to you. So saying no to hand-me-downs is a great way to maintain the right amount of things in your life. If you want the hand-me-down, of course take it, and need the hand-me-down, take it. But if you're like kind of feeling a little guilt, like, I don't really want to take this, but I guess, try to say no if you can, or donate it for them, because they obviously don't want it anymore, and they probably just aren't ready to make the like plunge and actually donate it. A great way to start your day is to make your bed. It kind of puts you in that mood of tidiness and cleanliness, and I find that it kind of like gets me going in the morning, and it's a snowball effect. You kind of end up tidying a little bit more during the day because you started it off that way. I find, honestly, the days that I don't make my bed in the morning, our house is more cluttery, and I don't know if that's why that is, but I find that when I make my bed in the morning, it reflects throughout my space and kind of like through my life, I guess. It's so powerful, making beds, apparently. All right, those are all of my clutter-free habits and tips. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I would love if you give it a thumbs up and subscribed. As always, if you have any video requests or comments or anything like that, please leave them down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!